So this will be a summer like no other. We are about to see political tensions increase, but the big issue right now that's going to impact millions and millions of people all across the United States is the weather. Forecasters are already predicting this is going to be a historic year, but it could be a bad year. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, but just understand at this time, hurricanes are expected to rise. The heat wave is continuing to push all across the United States. We are anticipating an increased amount of deaths due to the hurricanes, due to tornadoes, and due to heat. So again, I'm going to break all that down in today's video, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So the 2024 summer season is going to be devastating. I want to show you this. This is an article from CNN. It says why this summer's forecast is bad news for the U.S. after an exceptionally disastrous start of the year. Now, most people would anticipate it's because of the amount of deaths that we had, because of the tornadoes, because of the hurricanes that we are anticipating. And here's the thing that's crazy. This year, we are already anticipating more hurricanes than ever before. But just listen to this.
This, in fact, is the year that NOAA has predicted the highest number of possible named storms, up to 25, and 4 to 7 of those are forecast to become major hurricanes. So what's happening here with the sea surface, the water temperature right now is already above average, and we're not even in the hottest months of the summer yet. We're talking about the waters in the Atlantic and parts of the Caribbean, essentially everything that's surrounding Florida. The other thing, as you mentioned, is La Nina. What that does is it reduces the amount of wind shear that can break apart hurricanes. So if they don't have that wind shear acting against them, well, there's a greater potential for them to be bigger and more destructive.
So right there, if they don't have that wind shear going against the hurricanes, these hurricanes could be bigger and more destructive. We already have seen states over on the East Coast are preparing for this. But the concern is they don't have the funding to back them up. That's the big issue. But I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But here's the other one. This dangerous heat wave that is going across the United States, they're saying this could break temperature records again. Because the cities over on the East Coast are now preparing for this heat wave. On the West Coast, we just had this just the other day. Now, here's something you may not know. Okay, you may not realize that these heat waves, come and go, but just in Las Vegas, they reached record temperatures the other day as well. They're at 111, 110 degrees. That was so much more than what it was in the past, especially at this time of the year. Just look at this. Okay, look at this right here. It says the dome of sizzling temperatures in the West early week will engulf the nation's heartland starting Wednesday, then spread across the southern and eastern U.S. The second half of the week. While these regions heat up, the Pacific Northwest can expect to cool down by next weekend. Look at that. Look at the entire U.S. is almost all in orange or red. Just the Pacific Northwest has a little bit of green, and then there's some up here in the Northeast as well. But everything else, just high heat. That is going to cause our electrical grid to potentially have rolling blackouts because our electrical grid is not used to that much heat. The other and the big thing is people that are living on the streets, they need to find a place to go. Because if you are on the streets and it's 100, 110 degrees out, it is going to be brutal. People will lose their lives. Let me show you this though. It says why this summer's forecast is bad news for the U.S. Well, the reason why it's bad news is because we don't have the funding if there's a disaster. When we see high heat, everybody worries about, is my air conditioning working? Is the pool filled up? Is the AC in the car, is it blowing cold air? That's what most people worry about. I'll just turn the sprinkler on. We'll go to the family fun center. We'll go and have fun. We'll jump in the pool and go down the water slides and everything will be good. Here's the problem. When you have high heat, you also have an increased chance of it starting a fire. We are already expecting more fires, more wildfires this season. So we have more wildfires. We're expecting more tornadoes. We're expecting more hurricanes at a record pace. And on top of all that, we're just going to have heat, right? So here's the thing you need to understand. Look at this. It says, now heading into what forecasters say will be an extreme summer, from punishing heat waves to severe weather and hurricanes, the nation's disaster relief agency is expected to run out of money before it's even over. Okay? How crazy is that? We're going to run out of money. So before this disastrous summer is over, we're expected to not have the funds to pay for it. Let's keep reading this. It says the U.S. has been thrashed by 11 extreme weather disasters with costs exceeding $1 billion so far this year, with a total price tag of $25.1 billion. It says according to an updated tally from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. It's tied for the second most such disasters on record and doesn't even include extreme weather on the second half of May. Okay? It says that is worrying news for the Federal Emergency Management Agency, whose major disaster relief fund could slip into the red by the end of the summer, a more than $1.3 billion shortfall by August. Okay? That's the problem. If we see a $1.3 billion shortfall in August, how do we pay for this stuff? This is where lawmakers are trying to come in and say, you know what? We need to do better. We need to make sure that FEMA has the funding it needs to withstand these storms, right? The heat waves, the tornadoes, the hurricanes, and potentially wildfires. The one thing that we've had already is major hurricane or major tornadoes, right? It's taken the lives of many people, right? Just completely decimated small towns. But we've also had the threat of additional hurricanes, right? Tropical storms, named hurricanes. They're predicting between 4 and 7 different hurricanes, major hurricanes just this year. That is huge. If we have, let's say, 7 hurricanes, that's going to be devastating for millions of people. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because of what happened in Maui in Hawaii just this past year. They were devastated when the fire came through and took out most of that island, right? Or at least the western side of that island. But here's the thing. People are still trying to get back on their feet. They're still trying to get money from FEMA. They're still trying to get the money that they were owed from insurance companies. Right? They're not getting it. It's taken so long for people to put their lives back together. But right now, if FEMA is already anticipating a shortfall of about $1.3 billion and we haven't even experienced the toughest part of the year, what do we do at that point? So that's just what I want to leave you with. Just understand, we could be in a very dangerous situation right now because of what's expected to come over the next 3 months. So we'll see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you is I'll be here every step of the way, and I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.